We're driving a Mercedes-Benz GLB. Coming up, I'm going to tell you a bizarre fact that makes zero sense about the GLB. But first, information explosion. All right, let's get things started. Interior. Sweetie, have you noticed something different about this video?
No.
I'm screaming less.
Oh!
I'm gonna try introducing the segments with a little more restraint.
I don't know if that'll be as fun.
Screaming is definitely more fun. Do you prefer the screaming introductions to each segment, or do you want a more calm Micah? Tell us in the comments. All right, let's talk about the interior. Do you have any thoughts? What's your reaction when you slide into the GLB?
I love the vents. They're cool.
Are you? What do you find cool about the vents?
Well, I like how intuitive they are to use and that they have a distinct...
Oh, this is gonna happen a lot.
Oh,
hey,
no.
Mercedes, shut up.
I can't believe you just said that to me.
Oh, wow. We're having a weird moment with the car. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit, but let's complete our interior discussion.
So when I looked at the price and I peeked in the window and looked at the exterior, I was like, how are they making that happen? That's so cheap.
Volume, volume, volume.
And then you get in and you can kind of see, oh, like this is where it happened in the back seat. There are some hard plastic interior bits, which makes sense.
Normally, so the smart strategy is to put that plastic in places you're not necessarily going to touch. This is a tricky spot because that's right where the door handle is. So you're definitely going to touch it.
Totally.
I would say if you don't like that, just find somewhere else to touch. There are lovely materials. You just got to know where to go poking. Ah, the iguana's back. All I'll say is that there are interesting textures, interesting colors. This one has an open pore trim, this sort of metallic style, sort of half brushed, half not, I think looks great. I
was very curious about how the reflections, right? Like that thing that looks like a ice scoop.
I haven't been blinded yet.
Okay.
Also, if that doubles as an ice scoop, I'm gonna be so impressed. Might have to buy one. The tactile feel of the controls, that little click, is really nice. The rear vents do that too when you touch this. The weighting of the window switches. Mercedes does a really good job with a lot of those tactile details. Needless full throttle acceleration.
Tell me.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be speaking in my car that I'm driving.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you with that right now.
She says I'm sorry, but I don't feel like she's really sorry.
There is subtext. When she says I'm sorry, it's kind of like... How's the seat fitting you?
So the seat fits well, except this big plastic piece between my legs that apparently is there.
It extends the little the thigh bolster here.
Which is a great idea because I have little legs, I can ride comfortably, our taller friends can ride comfortably, but having that bit of plastic sticking out there is not very comfortable.
Well, sit differently.
Okay.
Mercedes will tell you to do that. Interior space for a compact / subcompact small SUV is outstanding. I don't even need words. Look at all this space. I'm just waving a hand. Rear seat legroom is great. Seated behind myself, the ultimate average male.
I can't touch the ceiling on the car.
That's right. My daughter cannot touch the ceiling of the car. That's how much headroom is back there. You can't even touch it. And what's amazing is that despite the small footprint, there is an optional third row back there.
Wow.
So it's not a big third row. It kind of calls back to like the third row they used to have in the RAV4. It's really more of kind of like an occasional emergency use. You're picking up the kids. I think it's a cool option to have in a package this small. That wasn't innuendo, iguana. Cargo space is a reasonable 27 cubic feet. So yeah, in terms of interior space, there is a lot to work with despite being, fairly small and one of the entry-level offerings from Mercedes. Rear window test. Armrest test. So, The place where my elbows land is actually pretty soft, and it's got some squish to it. The stitching is on the side, so it doesn't really interact. It's a little bit too far out. I feel like I'm right on the edge of being able to hold the steering wheel and have my elbows on the armrest. Nonetheless, I can do it. So I'm gonna put it in sort of the 65% space for each elbow. Let's talk family friendliness. What do you think? Is it family friendly?
Oh, definitely. The latch points are very accessible, although they are a little bit shallow. I had a tiny bit of trouble putting them in. That might just be me, user error. One thing I did notice, if drink holders are important to you in your second row seating, the ones in back are a little flimsy.
So there might be like juice boxes going asunder. Double check and make sure that's the correct use of asunder.
Ooh, yes. I found it difficult to keep my coffee mug upright.
And the car wasn't even moving then, so heaven help you when it is. Overall, what do we think? GLB, family friendly?
Family friendly.
Family friendly. Hey, have you subscribed to our channel yet? If you haven't subscribed to Micah Drives, please do. At 100,000 subs, I'm gonna review a windowless white van. Style.
So gentle.
The GLB, when I first walked up to it, my first thought was that looks exactly like a normal mid to large size Mercedes SUV, except I'm further away from it. It looks like basically they took the large SUVs and then rendered it at 70%.
Which makes it cuter, right?
Totally, yeah. I think it's lovely. What do you think?
I do like that it sort of looks like a secret wagon.
Secret wagon? Go on.
It's really squared off, it's low to the ground, it's like almost a wagon.
Sweetie, once again, you don't know things, but you know things. That is so interesting because the GLB shares its structure with some other vehicles, and it is in many ways the wagon expression of a CLA and a GLA, similar underpinnings. And it's funny because it's cast as an SUV, but listen to me floor this. Front tire spin, this is a front wheel drive car. You can get all wheel drive with it, but this is basically a wagon that looks like an SUV. You have nailed it.
Wow.
Sweetie, get your early high five.
Ooh.
Hey, if you would like to see what I'm driving or flying between YouTube videos, follow me on Instagram, and if you're curious what our family's up to, give Evie a follow, won't ya? In motion! The GLB rides great. Our car is on 20-inch wheels, and you'd think that lack of sidewall might really hinder a smooth ride, and it does not. It's a very comfortable vehicle to drive. Steering weight is great. You can adjust that with the different driving modes. If you go in sport, it'll get a little bit heavier, yada, yada, yada. One thing I've noticed, and it's a great time to bring it up since we're completely motionless, is that there is more evident body roll than perhaps in the CLA, with which the GLB shares some of its structure. And I was trying to figure out, is it actually rolling more because the center of gravity is raised and you've essentially taken the same package but made it higher? Or is there a visual component where the A-pillars with their semi-verticality give more of a visual cue in relation to the horizon? This is the kind of stuff that car reviewers suck a lot of times, but I also have to consider what I'm experiencing and whether it's what I think I'm experiencing or it's some other thing. So I don't know. You know what I do know? I can go through a little S-curve right here and we can see. Okay, let's watch the body roll. It's hard to tell. Like a little bit of body roll, it's probably a combination of the two. Nonetheless, I think it's a comfortable, competent feeling little SUV. I like it. Now we're going to talk about powertrain. So as mentioned with my CLA video, so this is an 8-speed dual clutch transmission versus the 7-speed in the CLA, but there have been times, like when we were doing car-to-car video, I wanted to accelerate and it wasn't quite sure if it should downshift or not, or sometimes it would hold the lower gear a little bit longer, and then every once in a while, you come to a stop and it just sounds like a little bit clunky, and there are some nuances to the powertrain behavior that I think are a little bit odd, but if you're not paid to notice super specific nuances of powertrain behavior, then it's probably going to be just fine. Ooh, let's go zippily through this left-hander, see how we feel. A little bit of understeer as I get on it. This is the front-wheel drive version and not the all-wheel drive version, so we are total posers as we drive around in this thing. And it very much feels like a front-drive SUV. Maybe just spend $2,000 for all-wheel drive. Last thing I'll say is that it's pretty quiet inside. All right, let's have Evie drive. Oh boy, we're driving with Evie. So what I'd love you to do, come to a complete stop here, and I'd like to notice something.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. We're coming to a stop. How do the brakes feel?
I think they feel
Fine.
good.
Okay, so the automatic engine start-stop system has engaged. You'll look at the tachometer and notice that the engine is off.
Okay.
When it's time to go, take your foot off the brake and tell me what you think about the engine restart.
I'm sure I'll have a lot of thoughts about it.
You joke. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Okay.
Was that engagement when the engine came on smooth or not smooth?
So it felt a little abrupt, but that also made it seem fast.
Oh man, I cannot wait to start cashing those Mercedes paychecks. Clearly you're on the payroll.
I just don't have any experience with start-stop systems.
How's visibility for you?
Let's see.
We'll take a left.
Visibility is not bad.
Yeah, so you got a tall greenhouse, pretty good view in all directions.
Yeah,
How's the steering feeling?
it feels good. Responsive is a word I've heard you people use.
Oh, what do you mean, you people?
Journalists?
Sorry, when you say journalist, you have to make the air quotes.
Okay.
I think for you, the big question is maybe less about like nuanced performance and more like, are you comfortable driving it? What do you think? Are you comfortable driving this?
I am. I can see outside of it. I feel like it brakes when I hit the brake. It's turning when I turn the wheel.
We've achieved a verdict. I'm getting back in the driver's seat. And we're back. Overall, I think unless you're looking for the subtle little details of the powertrain delivery, this is a very nice package, a very nice vehicle to drive. Emotion factor. Sweetie, are you feeling an emotion towards the GLB?
I am. It's a slight bit of annoyance towards the system that I won't name, but also I feel very pampered in here.
You're feeling pampered.
I am. It feels luxurious.
When was the last time you felt pampered? Tell us in the comments. I think there's some fun aesthetics, both inside and out. It's a very satisfying ride, and it feels elevated, yet practical. It's a great car to have a great emotion with. If you're feeling emotionally drawn to buy a GLB of your own, check the Kelley Blue Book listing link in the description below. Remarks. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I was going to share a bizarre fact that makes no sense about the GLB. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I don't know if you were paying attention in the information explosion, but if you weren't, you missed the fact that fuel economy with the GLB is actually 1 mpg better if you get all-wheel drive. That makes no sense. Can you think of a mechanism by which an all-wheel drive vehicle should be more efficient? If so, tell us in the comments. We've been sparring back and forth with the infotainment system since we hopped aboard. The MBUX system, I find the interface not immediately intuitive, but I'm getting used to it, especially, you know, we've been spending some time in Mercedes as of late, so I'm easing into it. It's just, it takes a little bit of a learning curve. There's a few different ways you can engage with it. I really like the controllers here. The one on the right side controls that screen, and the one on the left side controls the gauge cluster, and these are really easy to use. These little like black pads, you sort of swipe in whichever direction you can press. Very cool. You can use this pad down here. This thing is just a place to rest your wrist. That's its entire function. It's a monolith to wrist comfort. And then you can also touch the touchscreen as well. And then of course you can, hey Mercedes.
How can I help?
I'm hot, baby.
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please?
But less stupid. I'm hot, Mercedes.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you with that right now.
Whoa.
What do you think I was asking? Awkward. I think if you're a little bit more mature when you engage with Mercedes, she'll do as you request. Can I have you demonstrate something interesting?
Yes.
Can you ask Mercedes to turn on your seat heater?
Hey, Mercedes,
How may I help you?
can you turn on my seat heater?
I'm switching on the seat heating.
Hey.
But I'd like to point out two things happened. One, that camera overheated. Thanks, GoPro. And two, it successfully turned on your seat heater.
Oh.
So it knows where that request is coming from, which I think is pretty darn cool when it works, which is not always. Before that GoPro overheats, I'll point out that our car has the optional 10.25-inch dual screens. In the basic car, those are 7-inch screens, but I really like that presentation under a single pane of glass. It just looks cool. It's the kind of thing, I always think about, like, when you buy a car, what are you gonna show off to your neighbors? Like when you're like, hey, I got this thing, it's pretty cool, like check out these. And this is one of those things. The little click, and then the dual screens. I think that's really neat. Last infotainment note, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto comes standard. One thing I didn't note on the outside, the exhaust pipes are fake. Fake! They look pretty cool, but they're fake.
What does fake mean?
It means not real.
Can you point that pen in it?
If you want keyless access, push button start comes standard, but if you want to walk up and touch the door and have it automatically unlocked, that'll be $550. Thank you very much. You're probably wondering, hey, I sure do like driving the GLB, but I wish it was faster. Well, there's a GLB 35, a Mercedes-AMG GLB 35. That'll be coming a little bit later in 2020, and a little more than 300 horsepower. A fun way to drive quickly to swim lessons or whatever. Then lastly, the competition is interesting. So BMW X1, I think the Audi Q3 would be a potential competitor, maybe Lexus NX, I don't know, Acura RDX is a little bit pricier and maybe a little bit bigger, but there are a few different vehicles. There's a lot of small SUVs in the luxury world that you can consider. Are there any remarks we've missed? If so, tell us in the comments. Get in on the game. Synopsis! Synopsizing the Mercedes-Benz GLB, I was reminded of a story my mom likes to tell every once in a while. Apparently, when my mother, Deborah Muzio, was young, you used to be able to get 2 different sizes of Coca-Cola bottles, and they both cost 5 cents. And she said, I always got the small one. And I have had this conversation several times and said, why would you ever get the small one? Oh, the big one was just too much. It makes no sense for me to spend the same amount of money to get less. In similar fashion, I don't know why you would get a GLA when it's basically the same price as a GLB. This one's roomier. You're getting more stuff for the same price.
But what if you like driving a small car? You want a smaller footprint, you want it to be more parkable.
Go buy a Mini, hippie.
Okay.
I don't know how
I was being silly.
Yeah, he was joking. I know he was shouting, but he was joke shouting.
Daddy was being charming. So to me, the Mercedes-Benz GLB is the large-sized 5-cent Coca-Cola of compact SUVs. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do. At 100,000 subs, I'm going to review a windowless white van. Please follow us both on Instagram. We would love to see you over there. We're happy to chat. Keep it respectful. Oh, good. That camera has now overheated. Quick, address this one. Everybody, did we have a good review?
Yeah.
Can I have a high five? You and you too. Come get your high five before that camera fails. Ah!